Alright, so I'm going to make an Abbey point for a challenge that was posted on Facebook the other day. Let's see where my operator's at. I think it was posted by Brady Epperson. I think that's correct. And the challenge was to make a choral Abbey point. So that's what I'm gonna do. Also notice there was a little dip here, but I was able to undercut it. Get a nice little flake. Keeper flake. And Abbeys are pretty unique. They have what's called a four-way bevel on them. There's the bulk percussion. Might run into it real quick. I was able to catch it. They have this four-way bevel to them. And basically, I already put a four-way bevel on my points as I nap them. But the difference is, Abbey points, you're just going down, 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 down. And you still get a very sharp edge, but it gets thick really quick. And when I do the four-way bevel, I'm driving in every time, and so the edge is very thin. So a little difference there. Also, Abbeys are kind of wide-winged. They have these really nice wings that spread out. So pretty excited. Haven't made an Abbey point in a minute. So I'm excited to make one. And happy to bring you all along. Gonna make a hit right there. Wasn't quite able to catch it all. But we will on some of these tracks here. Again, a flat prepared edge will produce a wider flake, typically. See how wide that is? Pretty wide. See where the platform came off? Went super wide really quick. That can happen, depending on what you're going for. I think this will be a really good candidate for an Abbey because it's pretty wide on the base, and that's kind of what you want for these kind of points. Now this right here is a good platform, and I might be able to undercut it all, catch some of the cortex on the other side, but maybe not. I might not want to. Yeah, overshot. I think we had to get rid of that cortex up to that point anyway, so it's not a terrible loss there. But it is what it is. Just gonna feather this in. It might overshoot a little bit, maybe not. Yeah, overshot just a tad bit, ran into that cortex. Which we can just kind of hit off like that. Not a big problem. Okay. I still think we're wide enough, so we'll still go for an Abbey point here. Pete, what you say, bub? I think you found a stick. When he finds a stick, keep him busy for about a minute, and then he loses interest. Okay. Should be a pretty good strike here. Another good flake. following that ridge. And I'm kind of going a little bit slower. Haven't worked an Abbey point in a while, so I want to make sure I get all the proportions right. Because a lot of it actually comes down to pressure work at the end, rather than this bold percussion work I'm doing here. I don't mind losing a little length. Yeah, as long as it's not a ton of length, I'll be fine. Thinning it out. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but this is some coral from Pearl Yoder. He has some really, really pretty stuff. And I highly suggest you get some from him if you can. I also got off the phone not too long ago with a buddy of mine. I met him through YouTube as well. And he was asking about making the flakes that I get on the points that I make. You know, how they all meet up and they look really nice. Abbey points is going to be a little bit more difficult to show, because Abbey points are pretty much pressure flaking up to a certain degree. But in bifacing, I can show you a little bit as we kind of draw near to it. So this face is fairly flat, you know, pretty flat. So I want to go ahead and draw some off this side if I can. And because I don't want to lose too much width on the base, I may try to attack this cortex in different ways. So this is going to be the first way right here. I try to attack it from this corner. Because Abbeys have a little incurve, or a curve, excuse me, to the blade itself. And that's just due to resharpening. This might not go all the way across, but it'll give us something here. Or not. I wonder what happened there. I think I wasn't low enough center line wise. might have been my issue there. Just feathering in. And these feather flakes will allow us better platforms in the future. Now this platform is a bit low, so it'll probably shear a lot and probably hinge. Hopefully it'll hinge here and not there. Yeah, that's fine. We'll address that later on with our pressure flaking. So again, I don't want to lose too much off the base because I already lost a little bit. So I don't know how much I can get away with. I might just have to tidy up the base from the base rather than from the side. Some of you are probably saying, well, duh. But there's different ways to attack the material. For instance, I got a ridge there. That might help us a little bit on the base. And thinning it out. Alright, so we're able to thin it out even though we got a little bit of work to do. Able to thin it out while keeping our width in check on the base. For now. We'll probably lose a little bit as we go. Doing okay right now. And concerning sequential flaking, got one here, going for one here. Might can even get an extra one there, but I want to move a little bit here first. Alright, moving on. Got another platform to hit. Yeah, notice our flakes. You can probably switch down a size bopper. You could stick to the big one, switch down a size. And to get the good flaking, you don't want to just hit here. You know, you could hit a small flake, but you want to get your ridges parallel to the point. So if I was to hit in there and drive this off, not only would it make it harder for me to send flakes across because I send a flake here, but it would just ruin the symmetry of the point. And I could do it, but trying to give some tips. You want to come from the side if you can, if that's the style you're going for. A little too timid trying to hit those. There we go. This is where I tried to hit back, and so there was a little bit of chatter here. I'm able to get it off pretty easily. Everything matches up. And pretty much got us a freeform here. Needed to abrade that a little more, and it would have came off like that one. Little stuff like that can hurt you down the road. Luckily, I was able to catch it. No problem. Feather flakes. Feathering right in. Gonna have to catch that slight hinge from the opposite side. Which isn't really a big deal. Points coming together pretty easy, to be honest. Almost suspiciously easy. Uh-oh. Hit that again. Let me switch down a bopper real quick. Yeah, that's perfect. When you switch down a size, you can swing a little bit quicker, but you also lose a little bit of your precision. So you got to get good at using smaller boppers, but sometimes they can be a real big benefit, you know, if you have the hand-eye coordination that you need. Now this tip from there up is good, but I want to clean out some of this area, but I also want to thin out this back area a little bit too, so I'm trying to figure out my priorities here. I also violated a rule by hitting a little bit back there. That's because I wanted to set up a platform for the opposite side. And it met some of the flakes in through here, so I'm not really worried about it. this side's already pretty flat, so getting it to go all the way across might be a bit tricky. So what I'm gonna do is get my pressure flaker here. This is the flat side we're hitting on at our platform here. And just gonna isolate a little bit. Nothing too crazy. And a little something right here as well. I actually hit the lowest point there because the lowest point was a little bit too low right there, so I kept the tallest part of that. The part of the platform that was closest to the center line is what I'm trying to say. So 2 platforms, 1, 2. See, this one should be fine. Broadened out a little wide, but it's cool, it's cool. This one should catch it. I want it to catch at least to right there. I did say at least, but I figured we'd probably go a little further, which we did. Now, notice also, this is what I was trying to get at earlier with my strikes. 1, 2, 3, and I try to go at least 2/3 or 3/4 of the way across. Then I'll flip it over, do the same thing, which I already did. And then you just feather them in. So I feathered this in and then hit across. So this side's pretty much done, just pressure flaking work. This side needs to just be feathered in. Then should be good. Might take one more strike there though. That might not make sense to you, but some of you may understand what I'm trying to say. Got paleo flaking from one side of the blade. Hit from this side across, and then I just feather in, flip it over. Hit from this side across, and this side I just feather in. And that's typically how I do my napping. Like right here, I'm just feathering this in. All right, so we had our big flakes feathered in. We're gonna feather in here with a wide flake, okay? Not a flake that's right here. Not a thin flake, for example, not something like that. We want a wider flake. Which, that one broke into 2 halves, so not a big deal. Anyways, most of these big percussion scars are going to be broken up anyways because of our pressure flaking. These Abbey points are known for having good pressure work done on them. Which I'm not a pressure work master. There are other people out there that are way better than me. Probably because they have more practice and better tools. Better experience. But I'm not too bad myself, guys. Not too bad. You can put a little bit of trust in me to do all right. See, even right here, I won't mind going down another size popper. That wasn't great. Wasn't a great hit. This one should be a little bit better. Come on over here, buddy. All right, now Abbey points were not very thin, guys. Some are, but here I am trying to get it thinner. My goodness. What am I doing? Like I said, sometimes napping different styles means adjusting from what you're used to doing or what you get in the habit of doing. We're gonna get that last big hump out right there. Do it. And I'm going to isolate it a little bit because I got a definite ridge I want to run. So let's see if this works. It should. Okay, little ridge to follow right there. I want it to meet this, but I don't want it to dive in. It's very possible it'll dive in. I don't want it to. Looky there. That's about exactly what we wanted. And didn't dive in. Beautiful. Come right here, get a little feather flake in, and this also gives us another pretty flake scar right here. Somewhat pretty. It'll do. Remember, Abbeys have kind of a weird shape. Hey, quit that, bud. Catch this weird area. If I can. Hearing a little bit of thunder in the background. Didn't know it was going to thunder. Now I'm just going for good looking flake scars and trying to tidy up symmetry here. Now, because we kept a lot of the base still on here, we still got some cortex. I'll address that as we continue on. It's my smallest bopper. I don't want it. That's more like it. when I get to these final stages, I almost like to isolate my platforms more than I typically do. And that's just for safety, just making sure everything is exactly how I want it. Like I said, I could just stick to pressure flaking here, but I feel pretty solid with my percussion for at least a couple more strikes, like this right here. Got a platform right there. Try to run it in the middle. Strong enough. And pretty much just drive straight in. I don't know where that one came from. Oh, right here. And percussion will give you some really good scars like that. That's why it's my go-to. Indirect percussion, you can get some good scars there too. But percussion seems to get me wider scars. I like that better. Personal preference. Personal preference. Like right here, the shape is okay. I just wanted a little bit different look, scar-wise. For those of you who don't nap or don't know the lingo, the scar is just basically what's left after the flake has been peeled off and removed. And when your scars meet up, it looks pretty nice. When they don't meet up and you have little hinges everywhere and it looks like little valleys and mountains and canyons on your piece, doesn't come out as good. Pressure flake that out. Pressure flake the tip and pressure flake the rest. I think we're at a stopping point with percussion at the moment. So that's what we got so far. Something like that. Still kept, I think, most of our length. And so now I just got to get rid of this cortex on the base without losing too much. That'll be the challenge. Always got my sweet tea handy. I saw Red Eye Patriot, I think that's his name on here. You're probably watching. I mentioned Milo sweet tea. I've had that growing up. It's pretty good. For me personally, I like the no calorie kind. Not that it tastes better, it's just, you know, I'd rather lose a little, I was gonna say lose a little weight. I'm not necessarily conscious of how many calories I'm putting in, but I'm a sweet tea guzzler. I'll drink as much as I can get my hands on. So for that reason alone, I'd rather drink Splenda and no calorie stuff, which people will say will cause cancer and cause this, that, and the other. I mean, it's possible. You guys out there may say, Jake, don't do it. It is what it is. Okay, so basically right now I'm abrading. I'm seeing where my center line's at. I'm seeing that a good platform here is somewhat low. I could probably push in other places. I'm just feathering is the terminology I use. I'm I'm just pushing it to about right there, not over halfway. This might not be a good flake, but came out okay. Now there was a picture associated with this challenge, and I don't have it pulled up with me. So I might be at a slight disadvantage. And basically what you win is your photo, or a photo of your point on the site as like the main photo of the site for a certain amount of time. But really I'm just doing it to support, I believe his name was Brady Epperson. He made a post and I wanted to be able to help him out, post on there too. These Abbeys are a southeastern style point. And a lot of the folks up north might not be familiar with it. Maybe you are. Now right now, I'm pushing in somewhat, but whenever I come to the beveling or final pressure flaking, I'm gonna do the 4-way bevel, which isn't much different than what I'm doing here, but you'll see. For a while, I actually used to collect Arrowheads, authentic ones. Sorry, my voice is cracking all day today. Y'all better not make fun of me. If y'all make fun of me, I'm coming at you. But Abbeys were a point that I collected a lot. I love the shape and the style of Abbey points. They're just gorgeous. I'm gonna come in a little bit and try to round it out slightly. Again, I don't mind driving in here when needed. There's a spot here. You gotta be careful, because there are gonna be areas where you need to drive through a hingy spot right there, and you need to abrade a little bit more on your platform. It'll just run straight into that hinge. See? Ran right by it. Part of it. Gotta catch the other one in a minute. Or we can catch the other one right now. Possibly. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Yeah, don't just blindly flake. Always pay attention to where your flake's going and what it's going to be able to do. And if your platform is right, my platform is a little low there, needed to fix it. right here, this is kind of an important strike, so I just want to make sure it's abraded and everything's okay. Did good. All right, so this side, I've just got to tidy it up. Okay. Focus on this side. We already did one pass. Kinda. We're gonna do another one here. Kind of long for an Abbey point, to be honest. I don't mind that. I like making long points. And it's also a good thing to shoot for if you're trying to grow as a flint napper, is whenever you make longer, bigger points, you have to adapt. So, how do I say this? If I had an Abbey that was that long, I'd still have it that wide at the base. If I have an Abbey this long, I'm still probably gonna have it this wide at the base, maybe a tad bit wider. And what I'm getting at is, I've made the mistake in the past, particularly with hardened points and others, where I'll make the base so doggone big and abnormal that it just looks like a gigantic, like plus size version of it. It doesn't look like a natural point. Like if I have a Pickwick, I'm not gonna make the ears yay wide and however tall. I'm gonna keep it naturally how it is and then just make the blade come up into a nice shape, you know, depending on how long it is. And a part of being a good flint napper is working through those changes, trying to figure out what points look like in first stage or when they're longer. That way it doesn't just look like it's a plus size thing where everything's kind of abnormal looking. You hold it and you're like, this is not not authentic feeling looking. It's just weird. You know, if you have a Clovis base that's yay wide and yay tall, I mean, that's cool, but I mean, keep your Clovis, you know, streamlined, yeah, as they were. That's just a personal tip. Don't take it to the bank. It's just a personal thought. Pete, over here, bub. Hey, come on, bub. Now, I know my battery's a little low, and I've actually faced the camera towards me this time, so I can actually catch it when it goes off, because some of these last two videos I made, I was facing the camera the opposite way, because they say the back camera is better quality, which it is, but you can't see when the battery's dead. You can't see when it quits filming, which just means I need to buy a power cable or dock so that I can hook up my fan, a charger, a light, so on and so forth. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here, folks. Pretty sporty. Not too shabby. I really love this side. That side is whew, that is beautiful. But we got to get rid of this cortex too. So, Pete, hey, come on now, quit that. So how are we going to do it? Well, we got a little bit of real estate here on the base because some of that cortex is off already. So we're going to take advantage of that. Take a slight flake. You don't just want to flake straight in. You know, you want to at least give yourself a little ridge to follow. Now I have a slight ridge to follow. Somewhat. Might not work out, but it's better than what I had. Yeah, it worked out. Went up to about right there. See it? hopefully. These strings, I tell you what, they need to make some gym shorts without these doggone strings, and they probably do. But I love gym shorts, but doggone. The angle of that platform was not good at all, but we made it work. Now, probably gonna have to come from the side now, which is totally cool. I want to keep a little bit of this white cortex on there. It'd be really nice if I could. I don't know if I can. Abbey points are also, this is key now. Now don't forget this, all right? Abbey points are not like Pickwick points in that you make a long tang. It comes out to about right there. Notice how flat this base is, because you are going to be shooting in where the wings can come out. You know what I mean? So the wings won't be as flared if it's like that, but as you come in, and so I'm not going to have a tang down to here because I just had to trim the tang up anyways. The tang's going to be right there, and you'll see what I mean as we go through. Hopefully. I always say hopefully because you never know, something might go wrong. I hope it doesn't. But yeah, we'll get that out. Feel pretty confident we will. Yeah, I still got a little odd cortex right here. Knock that off. Now, I don't have a picture of an Abbey in front of me. I think I already said that, but we're just gonna have to go by memory, folks. Let's see if we can blow that off now. Or not. Definitely not. Okay. Oh, maybe. Okay, we did a little bit. That's fine. I'll take it. Remember, we don't need a big tang as we're making these Abbeys. Start with a flat base. That's all you need is a flat base. That's all you need. We're gonna try to, what's the word, accentuate? Is that how you say it? These ears. Fine. Let's come from this other side. I'm kind of worried. You never know what cortex will have in store for you. Sometimes it's something good, sometimes it's unpredictable. Looks like it might be a mix of both. Gotta get into it somehow. I reckon that's how. Hopefully y'all are able to see what I'm doing. I think you are. Gotta love it when cortex just flies up in your face. Nothing to see there. Nobody saw that. Just trying to give myself some breathing room. I want to try to shoot in through there. It'd be cool if I could. I don't know if I can though. Call it a taste of it. I guess a taste is better than nothing. Need some leverage on this one. Hey, I caught it. I caught it. Let's go. Kind of a weird area there in the middle. This area on this side is pretty flattened out. This area was a little bit rough, but I was able to catch most of it. So now we got to make sure everything is in line and everything looks good. So I need to raise this edge. We kind of have a button base typically on these Abbey points. It's typically how they're described, as a button base. And at this point, definitely going to switch over to this flaker here. I really don't feel like grinding another piece of copper. Yeah, that one's brand new. You're like, yeah, he's lazy. I am. I'm just gonna do another copper insert there. Hey, might as well. Might as well. And Abbeys also have a kind of a unique way the base is structured, because it's not just a stem, but it's a button base, so it goes in a little bit. And hopefully you'll see what I mean in a minute. Less than a minute probably. Nice, cute little button base. Kind of like that. And it goes in rather than just rounding out. We'll see in a second. And I was able to keep some of this cortex on. Maybe not as we draw the point in, but for now at least. Come up a little bit. This coral's so nice, it flakes like a charm for me. Gotta draw this base in even more. Might even leave that thick edge on the base just to give it some character. Or maybe not. Yeah, I don't think I want to get any thinner on the base. Maybe one more strike. Okay, the very bottom of this thing is done, except for the final shaping. I actually might have to draw this edge in a little bit for symmetry's sake. And I've seen some Abbeys look just like that, okay? So you can quit there, but I'm not gonna quit there. Not gonna do it. Hey, come on, buddy. All right, let's give this point some pizzazz. Do it by giving that slight little notch in the tang. Just like that. See? Little button base, okay? Now we're not done. We got a lot of tidying up to do. And I'll tell you what, give me 2 seconds. Go over here. Try to find something very quickly if I can. Actually, there's one right here. It's an abrader. Oh. Want to get a thicker abrader and then this white abrader. And this white one is a little less grit, or more fine grit. It's a more accurate way to say it. That's just a big hunk of stone. But this one can come in handy if you're working delicate pieces. Like obsidian and faded coral. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead, make a nice set of small flakes. Like that on the base. You see that right there? Do it over here as well. Kind of comes down and then swoops up. Okay. That right there is what we did. Now we're going to do it once more. And I'm going to get this file. Use this file to do it. Go once more. which just gives you a really nice looking corner. In my opinion. Again, I'm kind of catering this tutorial towards Abbey points. There might be some cases you need to flip it over and redo the opposite side for symmetry's sake. And I typically don't drive these in, I'm just kind of pushing in. Now we need to fix our bass because we got our button a little off. Need to fix it. And Abbeys have different kind of button bases. This is one of them, something similar to that right there. As long as it comes in the deepest crevice of the notch, further than it does the edge of the back of the point, you should be okay for getting the style right. Now, whoopsies. Down for this edge. Got some devious plans. Again, 4-way bevel, so I'm not going to be pushing in a ton. Knowing me, I might do it anyways. And I'm coming up right on. See how far in I'm going there? That'll help us out as we move up. Make it look a lot better in my opinion. Apparently we still got enough battery, so that's good. Notice I'm not bringing the blade in as much, just back here. Again, I'm tempted to look down the side of this to see if I need to press in, which I did in some areas, but that's not in the style of the Abbey point. Now we're going to come back, do the exact same thing. I'm going to braid it slightly. Again, not pushing too far in on the blade. Part of this. We're going to come up to a needle point if I can get it. All right, so that is the shape I'm going for. Okay? Is that right there? That's what I want. Notice how this edge, I didn't really push in. Still kind of a thick edge somewhat. It's like a slabbish kind of edge. That's because the flakes didn't go in super far. They just went kind of right there and stopped. All right, let's do this other side and then we'll call it. Probably not right after we do this side. And also when you do this side, check your symmetry too. You definitely want your symmetry to be okay. Right now we're doing fine. Again, this symmetry won't be perfect to this one because we still have to do the opposite side. Okay. Meaning this will tidy up even more perfect than this first pass. I don't like that cut in the stone right there. It's not nice. Skipped a whole portion there. It's on purpose. Again, I might get us a needle tip if I can. All right, now time to do this side. I'll show you a tip on these ears too. That'll help you later on whenever you try to nap them. Or nap this style point. Oh, I forgot to braid this side. Whoops. Whoopsies. Not a huge deal. Yeah, I don't like that little change in the stone right there at all. Kind of cuts in more than I want it to. We're setting up that needle tip for a little bit later. Okay. Now when I come down to this right here, I like to leave a little lip. I'll show you what I mean. See that little lip right there? Juts out. I like doing that, gives it a lot of character. I've mentioned this in other videos, but if you can make your point look more fragile, I know that sounds really dumb, but if your point looks more fragile, it'll catch the eye. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you, but if you have like a sharp tip, I'm talking needle nose, scalpel looking tip, that'll catch the eye rather than a tip that just kind of looks normal. So having these ears jut out like elephant tusks can give it some character. I'm gonna go back up this blade, probably on both sides, just repressuring the edge, making it look how I want it to. Might take me a minute, but it'll be worth it long term. I mean, if you're going to look at this point for a while, you might as well put some effort into it, right? And if you want to show your points off to your friends, hey, take an extra 5-10 minutes. Make it look really nice. You might surprise yourself. Might end up being your best point you've ever made. Alright, this tip is a bit exaggerated, but it'll be fine. I'm going to sharpen this up a tad bit with my file. Hope the battery on my phone doesn't go out. I'm also going to tidy up this base here in a second. You'll see why I do that. Hopefully in a second. Pete, where you going, buddy? Here, bud. Find you a stick. Where's your stick? Alright. So like I said, a little bit thicker edge, but that's totally okay. And I am gonna mess with this base just a little bit. Doesn't look quite right. Now that looks a lot better, in my opinion. Like I said, you don't need to start out your preform with a big tang. You know, just starting it out with flat bass should do you just fine. So that's a tip I had to learn as I was making these points. That might help you too. Alright, now worrying about the blade itself. Looks like I need to do a slight bit of trimming. Can't do pressing the flakes in. I just gotta press down. Symmetry was a little bit off. See if this makes it any better. Also want to see if I can get these notches a little bit higher. Don't know if I can. Oh yeah, we can. I think. Yeah, okay. We caught a little bit of it. This will help the look of the wings, make them flare out a little bit more than they are currently. Hey, don't be biting. Has this really been an hour, 20 minutes? Maybe because I'm trying to get it perfect. You know, usually if I try to make perfect points, it takes me a while. If I'm just trying to boo-boo a point out, or knock the point out, don't take too long. Yeah, this will really make the Abbey point stand out for sure. By raising these notches, as I did on this side, it accentuates the flare of that wing. So instead of it coming just kind of straight out, I'm gonna notch it a little bit up. Just like that. And now we're rocking and rolling. Again, the more fragile your wings look, the better, in my opinion. My humble opinion. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Haven't made one of these in a while. I think I mentioned that, but testing your skills on some of these points never is a bad thing. I was able to keep a little bit of white in the base, which I think looks pretty good. Just going to fix this tip. Work on the blade a little bit. All right, guys, so my video cut out on me. My battery died, but it's giving me the notification again. But this is how the Abbey turned out. Made of coral, and I got it a little thinner than most Abbeys are, but pretty happy with it. I wouldn't say it's perfect in my opinion. This side's got a good 4-way bevel on it. Not super stout, but enough. Like I said, it's not perfect. You know, I might work on the shape as I start doing more of these points, but I think it came out all right. Both sides look good. I like that side. But while I'm at it, I'll show you some other points. This is the Noonan I made in that video not too long ago. Nice colors, big piece. Got an even bigger piece here. See how flat the flakes are across the coral. Ran into a little bit of a crusty area on the back, but was still able to keep it real nice. Big Noonan. This one's my favorite actually out of them all. The shape is amazing. Got it very thin. Slight bit of cortex on that side, but not too bad. Then this one's just really gorgeous. Orange, blue, little bit of coral crust. And check out the opposite side. You got blue waves, orange, white, pinkish kind of. I like both sides. I really like that side, but both sides look good. And then this is Tallahassee I made. Some call it a Dalton. I didn't really abrade the base for like a paleo point. Plus this is heated material, so. And no, this isn't off a slab. This was off a spa. Big Tallahassee point. I actually like that side better. Got white spots. Looks like the moon on there. Anyways, just showing off, guys. Just showing off. Also made another little point, but it was kind of crusty, as you can see. And actually right there is a part of where it mineralized. And so that's not a flake I took off. That's where it actually broke from a seam in the stone. So I was surprised to actually hold this together. But it's just kind of a okay kind of point. Love the colors though. Anyways, Abbey came out just fine. I could trim up the base slightly. That might actually look a little bit better. But some bases do come out this far. But anyways, I'll let y'all go. I'm just rambling. But appreciate y'all as always. I'll catch you on the next one.